Support for this show comes from Vermont 83% Rush Butter Sheets. I love croissant. Butter isn't just an ingredient, y'all. It's the foundation of everything we do. That's why we use Vermont 83% butter sheets, a cultured European style butter designed for laminated doughs. It's got the perfect balance, of richness and that flexibility. So every croissant we make bakes up with those delicate, crisp layers and that deep buttery aroma. And become and because it comes in sheets, it helps us stay consistent while keeping up that demand. That's right. Butter makes all the difference. And for us, that's Vermont. Welcome to Love Stories, an inside look at the bakery world, chef's journeys, and the business behind great food. I am just so excited, yo. Today is a special, special, special show because I have no less than Beatriz Trillos Ballerini. Thank you so much for coming to the pod, dear. I'm just so excited.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while.
We've only been planning this since, I think, April 2017.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's when we met. Not a biggie. Okay, so for those that don't know Beatriz, by the way, if you don't know Beatriz, you better get Googling right now. Today we're going to talk about immigration. We're going to talk about friendship. We're going to talk about how really this is just such a special country, to come and flourish as a professional. And I think we've had a lot of things happen lately, right? In our society, in our community, and I really want to kind of shine some light to how awesome this place is and how you can leverage, if that's the right word, your talent to come in here and have an incredible life. So Beatriz is an immigration attorney, and she'll tell you a little bit more about it. She's a rock star. Her law firm is called TV Visas. I recently learned how to roll my V's because I used to say visas.
Oh, okay. That was the Latin way.
That's the Latin way. And she specializes mostly in work visas, right? Work visas. But from my perspective, specifically, she's just happened to be a Swiss Army knife when it comes to bringing people with extraordinary abilities, which is something I didn't know. I learned in April 2017. Chefs also have or can have extraordinary abilities. And for all my friends out there, not just in Venezuela, overseas, just anywhere, whether it's France, Spain, I talk with a lot of chefs and they really want to come here. And they really want a shot, at showing the world what they can do and what a better platform that this awesome country. So I'm going to just let you introduce yourself, tell people a little bit about you or about your career, and then we'll talk a little bit about, how we met and
We'll just get into it.
yeah, I'll get into it.
Okay, so I have been living in Houston. I immigrated from Colombia in 1973. I'm totally aging myself.
Where in Colombia?
Cali, Colombia. I was born there, and I
yeah.
immigrated. I'm Maria Pues. So I immigrated with my parents. My father was a physician, and he was recruited by the Texas Heart Institute in the 70s. And so we came to Houston. And so I am an immigrant, and I came as a child. And, one of the things that I think that sets immigrants apart from other people is the value of hard work and that we don't take work for granted. So I think that's something that is a continual factor in what I see in my clients. And this is a country where it doesn't matter what your last name is. It doesn't matter if you come from money or not. You can make yourself, it's merit. And that's the beauty, and that's what we're talking about today. It was merit. It's merit. And so anyway, I started my practice, and it goes with the second birth of my child, my daughter was 2.5, my son was 2 months. It's important. And so I've had my practice. It'll be 20 years next year. We'll have to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's 19 this year.
That's when you graduated? That's when you started
When I started my firm.
Wow.
By myself with a 2-month-old and a 2-year-and-a-half-year-old.
Not a big.
And so anyway, I started, and I will say that I have met some extraordinary individuals that come here and work really hard and find that American dream. Okay. So anyway, my firm is a boutique law firm. We're in Houston. I also and I handle primarily employment, what is called business, what you said, but it's employment-based immigration. So it's all aspects of getting a visa to come to work in the United States, but also staying here, such as immigrant petitions getting the colloquial green card. Um, and because of my love for immigration, I'll tell you why it just was a perfect fit for me, because I always wanted to use my law degree to help people. And with immigration, you're able to socially change lives, even if it's in the context of employment-based immigration.
Definitely. Well, they say life is about service. And I really want to just share a little bit with people our connection. So, do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I do, but you get to say it, not me, because it's attorney-client privilege. So I'll let you say it.
Yeah, exactly. You guys know now. Whatever you say in that office stays there. So I had been terminated for like whatever better term from my previous employment. I had an L1 visa, so I was very fortunate. I
You want
actually
me to
came.
tell them what that is?
Yes, please.
Okay, so an L1 visa is an intercompany transfer visa where somebody who works for a company abroad and they are a key employee, meaning executive, manager, or specialized knowledge. You were an L1A, if I recall,
That's right.
which was an
It's an
manager,
executive. Yeah,
an executive. And so those visas, you have to have a company abroad. So let's say Restaurant Group A in Madrid
Mm-hmm.
wants to open 2 of their franchises here, and so they send their top chef. So that's the L. So that is an option for.
Correct.
So that's the one that you had.
So I was
Continue.
very fortunate. I came to the U.S. Flying, first of all, and then I came with an L1A. So I was corporate chef for a restaurant group in Mexico. They transferred me over here to open a restaurant in the Galleria area. A lot of people know the name of this place. But it starts with P and ends with Esca. And it was
Oh,
an
you're not
awesome.
giving it away at all.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome gig. I'm super thankful for it, but it ended, right? So I was terminated essentially, and so was my work visa. I was, if I can recall, I was devastated, almost like numbed a little bit. It was like a lot of things happened to me in that month, like the end. Well, just think about lot of things sort of collapse in my personal life, and
You were
I
young too.
I guess in my professional and personal, which for the longest time has been one thing, and I was more focused in my girlfriend at a time's um immigration status, right? I was like, yeah, well, let's just take care of you, and I'll figure it out later, or whatever. So we were referred to your law firm, and I remember I was like, I'll just sit in the meeting if you need me for anything. So this wasn't actually my meeting; it was for her, and we stepped in there, and we were talking about her, and I'm paraphrasing, but you were like, wait, excuse me, sweetie. I promise you, I'm gonna give you your time. Just give me one sec. You are you Omar from Pesca?
You know why I said that though? Because I had gone to Pesca, and now we can say it, right?
Right.
And I had gone to Pesca, and one of the things, the amenities that you had when people finished their meal was the typical paleta, and it was the paleta de leche that reminded me of what my grandmother in Colombia used to make me. Very, very basic, in the little thing that you put the ice, but the paleta de leche, and it brought, that's the beauty of cooking and culinary. It brings back memories. And so I had a connection with that.
I better have that on my next restaurant menu.
You better. And then after that that's when I was like, okay, I'm interested in you. You have an easy solution, but aren't you the celebrity chef? That's what happened.
Well, I'm definitely the most fortunate that that connection happened, and I think I had like 2 or 3 weeks before I was gonna go out of status, which is a very scary place to be, and you took my case, and it was like it's a wild process. I think it took us like what 2 maybe 3 weeks to
Well,
file.
we gave you priority.
Yep. So I feel like I was bumped to the beginning of the line, and then it was this whole process to get something I didn't even know it was a thing, which was an O visa, to explain in a second, uh, and it really just transformed my life. It allowed me to not just stay; it allowed me to work in a restaurant consulting firm that later I was able to acquire 49% of the stock in this company, later sell it, start my own consulting firm, later start, bakery business. Now I'm about to open restaurants. And it's like, I cannot stress enough how transformative something like this can be. And this is why this podcast and perhaps future podcasts where we're talking about this are so important. And you only said the only condition for us to start doing this was for my process to be done. So here we are. It's been a few years and we're about to get my citizenship,
Yes.
which I'm just like kind of jumping inside of me a little bit. I'm super excited. And I just wanted to share with everybody. I wanted to share with you guys, there are ways that you can use your talent, your career, that you sometimes, especially extraordinary people,
Yes.
will have the imposter syndrome. I have it till today. But do not miss an opportunity to talk with somebody like Beatriz. I know you may not know how extraordinary you are, especially if you're going through, like a rough moment in your life. I certainly felt unspecial when we met. And next thing you know, I was able, with your help, to get an O1. So will you explain what's an O1?
So, an O1 visa is so in the United States, we have what we call an alphabet soup of visas. So, like B1, B2, and L that we discussed a minute ago. The O1 visa, the reason why I think it's so special is because it's for individuals who have reached acclaim in their home country or internationally for their endeavor. So there's O1A, which is science, athletics, and so it's more of
I was this close to make it to the athletics one.
yeah, you were not athletics and flipping, anyway. So and then O1B is for arts, okay, and that could be motion picture, but also it's a lower standard than the O1A, but you have to show that you reach the top in your field in your home country or abroad or in the United States. And why and what evidence do you have to show that? So my diving into the O1B for culinary arts was with you.
Oh, wow.
And I had done O1B, O1As primarily. I had done O1Bs as well for dancers. I'd done O1As for nanotechnologists, even for business people, O1As. It was interesting. Athletes that had played in their country's Olympics. And that was, slam dunk, as they say, no pun intended. But I was able to get them. And then I said, wait a minute, the O1B for arts. And I looked at the criteria, which,
This will happen in 2 weeks, but
yeah, no, I looked at the criteria and I said, well, we have these criteria and you have to meet 3 of them or have 1 Michelin or have 1 major award. You were, when I worked on your application, one of the beauty is that you started at such a young age and it was ingrained in you to be a culinary artist. So you embody that. That to me was amazing because it wasn't that you just did it because you didn't like being a banker or whatever, or you were like an engineer and you want to do that. You did it because it was your passion. So these visas are wonderful. And one of the things that I like about these visas as well is that you can bring in your support personnel. And the support personnel are individuals that are critical and essential to your capacity. So
that's huge right there.
Chefs who have their, the individual who's the pastry chef, the sous chef, the chef de partie, things of that sort. So, but they have to have worked with you abroad. We didn't do that for you.
I really love that you said chef de partie. That's like,
Did you like it? Just because we're doing croissants and chef de partie and croissants and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah. So what else do I want to say? Okay.
well, that's yeah. No, go ahead.
You have to have so what's interesting is that you technically have to have a sponsor,
Right.
but very recently, actually this year, now O1Bs can own some of their businesses. So we'll have to talk about that a little bit more. The policy manual was updated very recently. I want to say January 15th, around that time. I might be wrong, but this year. And so that's interesting because one of the challenges that chefs have is I need a
want to open my own
sponsor.
restaurant.
And one of the criteria is that you're working for a restaurant that is of that level that you are bringing into the United States.
Right.
So, I mean, culinary arts is amazing to me. I've always been an admirer of it, and I think that is also probably why I got so enthralled in this visa, because to me, there's so much of value. You're able to come and do your art in the United States, and then you can apply for your green card based on your extraordinary ability if you
Which will
qualify.
die.
Yes, sir. You said it, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is so exciting. You know, when thinking about this podcast and almost like a little bit of my personal brand, if you will, I keep thinking about like what do I want people to know about me, and what things do I want to share with the world, and is it all food? Is it all pastry? I'm not even well, maybe I am now, pastry chef.
Yes,
You
you
know,
are.
I guess I'm all those
Yes, you
things now.
are. Yes, you are.
But immigration, randomly, not randomly, actually, very intentionally, it's something I'm very passionate about. We have never stopped working on something. If
Yes,
it's not my
exactly.
case, is this friend or this other chef or this other chef or this other person, and I'm just like very passionate about it. And I really want to invite you guys that are listening to this pod, or this short, if you're looking at this on Instagram, drop your questions below. If you are in the States, or if you want to come to the US and you just have a lot of questions, put them in the comment section, because this is just the first time we do this. We
Yes.
only waited 8 years to do the first. We won't wait that much to do the second or to do follow-ups, because I think what you do is, gosh, it's so admirable, but also so important. Like, we want the talent here,
Yes,
right?
we do.
So it is in the best interest of this country that we bring world-class talent. And when you're not here, it is just like so hard to grasp. Like, you don't even know where to begin. And and I do want to, like I said, not only I want people to know you, I want people to follow you, to go to your website. I want people to drop questions, and we're gonna do follow-ups. But most importantly, I want you guys to know that this country is full of people that want you, to be successful. People like Beatriz that obviously believe in immigration, and I mean, how could we not, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And specifically on the chef world, that's something that I know most chefs don't even know it's a thing. So if you're out there, you're crushing and you're on top of your field in whatever that is, whether it's confectionery, chocolate, baking, you have a Michelin star over here in Copenhagen, whatever. Like, there is a path for you to come here and crush it. And I'm very happy that, full circle, that this
Yeah, full
happened.
circle. Like,
Really.
one thing I want to say is that the O1B visa is fantastic. Um for many reasons. You can come in, the initial grant is 3 years. I know I'm talking kind of legalese, but it's a 3-year, and you can keep renewing it, right? But you can also apply for green card. But what's interesting is you said in the beginning of this podcast, I came in with an L1.
That's right.
So although we have the O1B category, which is great, there's also the L1 category, there's the E category, there's the TN category. So what are those? You want me to talk a little bit about
Please,
these?
let's go through that
Okay.
alphabet.
Okay, so we talked about the O, and those are for people that reached a certain level of acclaim. Again, I'm going to repeat it, in their home country, and they have evidence to show that they are known for this, or they were,
Like, if you make a croissant like this,
yes,
you can probably get an O for pastry. No,
it's fantastic. I'm a savory kind of a girl, but this is fantastic. I love it. It's great. And it's starting to make me hungry. So anyway, I'm just kidding. So
yeah.
the L visa would be intercompany, where you have a restaurant group abroad, and then they want to open one here, and you're coming to manage exactly what you did. But then what's interesting is the United States has treaties,
Right.
investor treaties with certain countries. Sadly, they don't
an
have
E.
it with Venezuela.
Mm.
It's an E visa. They do with Colombia. They do with Mexico, Argentina, most of the European, the EU, the Schengen countries, which are part of that agreement. And individuals can, let's say there they can be their own boss. Or let's say you give a really good, let's say Spain. You said Copenhagen, but I'm going to go back to Spain, to the home country.
The home country.
So that's what everybody calls it, right? La madre patria. So you go back to, let's say there's a group in Spain, They want to invest in the United States and open a group of jamón serrano fabulous restaurants or something of that sort, or paella. And with that, they bring in essential employees who are also Spanish. So they have to have the same nationality as the investor.
Right.
Okay. And because Spain and the United States have that treaty, because of that, they have to be Spanish. Okay. There, you don't have to show extraordinary. You're just showing the passport and that they have skills and they're professional,
Right.
that they have specialized skills. Okay. Then the TN category, which is interesting, that's based
I was
on.
gonna ask you about this. Like,
Yeah.
are they still
Well, let's talk about that. The TN visa is USMCA, which is based on the previous NAFTA. Now it's called USMCA, not YMCA, but it's USMCA. And so you got me to sing, by the way. YMCA. So
that's a very popular song. Big.
so TN is based on this treaty, but I have been successful in getting management consultant restaurants, kind of what you did, that
Right.
you own that company, to come here, and let's say they're opening up a new concept and they need this chef that's already has worked in consulting in their home country. You don't have to show that you're fabulous. You can just show that you're an expert, that you've worked in management. And so they come to the United States and they help U.S. businesses take off because they're coming to consult, to set up the menu, to give, concept ideas and to manage those concepts. So, I mean, we have a lot of options out there.
And so if you are a chef and you don't have a sponsor yet, is there anything that like? What are some ways to get a sponsor? That's kind of tricky.
That is tricky because normally you obtain a sponsor because somebody's opening up a new restaurant and they come and find you and they scout you. So they run down to Venezuela and they find you. I mean, they found you in Mexico. You were living in Mexico.
I was in
right?
Mexico already. That's right.
Right. And so let's say you get in the newspaper. Now people are more aware of this.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I don't think growing up as a chef, that's one thing that I didn't want was media attention. Because there's this sort of like culture in kitchen that's like crabs in a bucket. That is like, oh, you're not supposed to be famous because if you're famous, you probably don't know how to cook.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, big time. And so like, if you're too famous,
But
chances
actually,
are
I think that goes to other professions as well.
right.
Yeah.
So you just like don't get a lot of like street cred or like industry respect if you get a lot of TV attention. And I had a lot of that when I was a kid. And so, it always felt like I wasn't that good of a chef because I just had too much fame. I know this sounds stupid, but it is a thing. And so one thing that I would like for chefs to know is like, please do not, what's the word? Do not delude yourself,
Or do not underestimate.
do not underestimate, and just also like put yourself in the spotlight. It is important that you get to the top of your field, that you hone your craft, that you're great at what you are, but also it's important that people know that you're great. So if you see an opportunity to get in front of an editor or some magazine,
Yeah.
please take it. Not only take it and then keep this information. Like I was like struggling when we were working on this
But
case.
you
I was
had a
like,
good amount. You had a good amount of it.
oh yeah, I had a lot, but I also had a lot that I couldn't find. And so my thing is like, as you're on your way up, and you're working under somebody, don't be ashamed, of taking credit for what you do. Don't be ashamed to, get attention. And actually, don't be ashamed to seek attention.
Exactly. Let me tell you a couple things that I want to say with what you just said. Seek attention, meaning you get invited to participate in a contest. And your specialty is some special type of cacao or chocolate. Go do it. I mean, if that's your passion, go do it. And if submit your entry, go on, do the contest.
Especially like if you have like a niche thing.
That's
right?
exactly what I wanted
That's
to
why I
tell
said
you.
don't mute yourself. Don't delude yourself.
And then another thing that's not that I'm totally aging you by any means, or dating you, as they say. But today's world, we have so much on the internet. So the evidence is easier to find. But save everything, right? Save everything. And if an editor or a food editor wants to interview you about that cuisine or that twist in the cuisine that you did. Do it.
I'm going to go a step above that, which
Okay.
is you have something special. Let's say you figure out something about sourdough or some medicinal spices, something that you know it's special. Don't worry up. No, the word's not the word I'm looking for. Don't don't hesitate to reach out to this editor, to this journalist. They need this information, right? They want to know, they want to hear about you. They just don't know you exist. And so if you have something that's very unique, very special, if I was starting all over again, the moment I figure out actually what I have here is kind of special, I would start reaching out to press and be like, hey, I have this. In fact, and this is a moment to give a little bit of credit to my dad, because I attribute my um, TV career a lot to my dad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really, I need to give him more credit, obviously. For maybe 6 months, he was like, "Oh, I think you should do a TV show. You're really good with talking and this." And I'm like, "I am no actor, sir. I am a chef." Anyway, so he did this for 6 months until I was like, "Dude, go on, do whatever you want." So he snapped a couple photos of me, pretty lame, and sent out an email
My
to
gosh.
like 6 different networks, like all the biggest TV networks in Latin America on cable. And El Gourmet, which was like sort of the food network in Spanish, every country in Latin America but Brazil, uh, they responded within 36 hours
Oh my gosh.
saying, "What? You have a cook that can talk to camera that's 14 years old? We want him." And this sole email just completely changed, my life.
Well, it's taking
Essentially.
a risk,
Right.
right? It's also taking a risk because maybe you wouldn't have gotten a response, but let's say your dad would have tried again.
Oh, yeah.
That's also important,
Oh,
right? Never give up.
you
Never give
lose
up.
100% of the bets you don't make. I did not think you were gonna give me that 0-1. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I
I
was
believed
just
it. I believed in it the moment I saw you. And I was like, why is he here with her? Like, let's help her. No, and I did help her eventually. I gave her options. But really but here's another thing though, is that yes, there are scientists, right, in sciences for O1A. And we're grateful to have amazing researchers, female researchers at MD Anderson that I've had the honor of representing. And so in sciences we've had it, but if you are a lover of culinary arts, it takes you to a different level. So I think that's a combination for me too, because my dad, who is no longer with us, but my papi taught me how to eat, how to enjoy food, how to drink good wine, and the beauty of food and how important it is. You don't just eat to eat, right? And so he taught us that. And
I
everything was around food. Everything was around food. We ate together as a family in the United States every day. Come home from school, we wait and we ate with my dad.
I love that. I feel like
Losing that a bit,
that's kind of going away, and I hate that.
but it's around food.
It really is.
So, and it's not just eating in front of the TV or a TV dinner. It was homemade food. And it was a ritual. And then if he got his jamon from at the time you couldn't get jamon serrano,
Cinco
but you
Jotas or
could
something.
the
Cinco
belota.
Jotas. If you're hearing the sponsors, go ahead.
Oh, but the jamon from Spain that's
Acorn fed
yeah.
like
But
pigs.
remember how you couldn't get it? You can get it from latierra.com.
Mhm.
So Papi got it. It was like forever in some mountain, and then he brought it, and we put it in his wine cellar, and we all came over.
I love.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's appreciating food.
I love that, Beatriz. I'm gonna do something that you probably won't like as much, which is I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions while you take a bite of that croissant.
Okay. Am I gonna get all dirty? No.
But just if you don't mind, do it close to the microphone because we
Yeah.
really like to
I
hear
got
it
it.
crisp.
Oh, you want me to do
Only if it's crispy. I mean, if it's soggy, that
Ooh, it's crispy. It's very crispy. You want me to do it like right now?
in
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could get another O for this. This is awesome.
That is divine.
Okay, what do you think is the biggest misconception about U.S. immigration?
As immigration or as an immigration lawyer?
No, like biggest misconception, people trying to come in. Like, what? That's like one myth that you hear like all the time. You're like,
That, oh, I'm sorry, that was loud. That You come in and you can become a citizen like in 3 years.
Right.
The
Everything takes
myth is
longer.
that everything could be quicker, and it's not.
It's not. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah. We've only been planning this podcast for 8 years.
You keep saying that.
Wh- What you think is the toughest visa to get approved?
Mm, I'm going to say immigrant visa, which is green card. It's called EB-1A, which is the top category for individuals of extraordinary ability. And like this is like, so there's some chefs that, although they have an O1, doesn't mean that you can go direct to EB-11.
No, it wasn't that.
No, that was a little bit harder, but you can still get green card another way. So for me, you have to show that you're like, as the Mexicans say, el mero mero.
El mero mole.
El mero mole. So I love that. So anyway, that's what you have to like show. Do I keep crunching away?
I love that. Yeah, please do. If we never know. We're in the metaverse or whatever, so this could be, watched by somebody, especially the person that we may just name next, who is. And I introduce everybody to your practice as you are this celebrity chef's attorney, right? Because that says two things: that it speaks highly about you, but also says I'm a celebrity, which I love.
Correct.
So, who is your dream celebrity chef client, dead or
my
alive?
gosh.
Dead or alive? Que bobo accuse himself.
I mean, that's a hard question.
But it's a good one.
Jose Andres.
Oh, but
I think-
he probably is taking care of.
I know he's fine. I mean, he's taken care of. But one of the things that I love about him is his love for people and his love for helping immigrants. And he helped feed so many people, and he helped. He helped New York restaurants when COVID. And he's done so much to give back that to me, there's a lot of that. I mean, to me, it's.
He's an industry hero for sure. Yeah. We love you, Jose Andres.
But you caught me off guard on that one.
That's a good one.
And I love jaleo, and I love zaitinha in DC.
That's a beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
You prefer coffee or tea?
Okay, this is really weird. That's a deep question because I'm Colombian and I'm married to an Italian. So I'm a coffee drinker and I like coffee, but recently I've been doing tea. So my favorite tea is jasmine tea, and I do in the afternoons, I do black tea, so I don't do coffee in the afternoons.
Do you do black tea and jasmine?
I do jasmine tea throughout the day, oolong, and then in the afternoon I do proper English tea.
You
I do.
threw a little British accent in there.
I did.
Would you like a bottle of water?
Oh, that's actually Cockney.
Oh.
I did like more like, fancy. You did
Fancy.
Cockney.
Oh, yeah. If you weren't an attorney, what would you be?
I would probably do something as I eat. I would love to own my own business. Like maybe I always said to my team, immigration goes to hell in a hay basket, as they say in Texas. I can open my own yoga studio or import things from Colombia from women who make the most beautiful textiles in Colombia. So it's a passion. I love yoga, I like meditation, and I like things from Colombia, made in Colombia by women.
I love meditation too. I haven't really experimented much with yoga. That's kind of on my list. The whole fitness, it's like completely new to me. I did work out today. I know you can't tell.
You're bursting out.
I got that pump. This one is a tricky one.
Uh-oh.
What's your favorite restaurant in Houston?
Ooh. Ooh. My house, my husband, when he makes his pasta carbonara, you knew that I was
Nicely executed, sister. I love that. Okay. What is harder? This is the last one. Dealing with chefs or dealing with government?
Dealing with government. 100%. I love my chef clients.
Thank you for what you do for our community. This isn't the end of this podcast. I just wanted to say it again.
I think we need to do it again. This is so much fun. Thank you so much. And I just want to say that I think it's also important to highlight that sometimes individuals really want to come here and they get a little desperate and they go with the person who's going to charge them a lot of money. You have to be very careful because you work really hard for your money and you have to find and connect with that person, like your doctor, for instance.
100%. I'm so glad you said that because people don't realize, like, yes, you can pay whatever fees, but honestly, the money is only like part of the exchange. Like,
Exactly.
we really want to make sure that the person that you're working with likes you, and you can
And you
tell, and
trust them. And you
yeah,
trust them.
well, yeah, that's how you kind of build that rapport. It's like be a good person, but also like read the room. If you have an attorney that you're like they don't like me very much, maybe find another one. But most importantly, go on tbvisas.com. Okay, so I have a couple more for you.
Of course you do.
Um, I want you to, if you were able to talk to Beatriz, 20-year-old, let me go by, 18-year-old Beatriz. You have, this opportunity for a few minutes. What will you tell her?
If there's a will, there's a way, and you will get there.
I love that. So have more faith, keep on going.
Have more faith, and you can do it, and believe in yourself.
Beatriz, we have this great tradition from since we started the podcast where somebody leaves a question for the following guest. They don't know who the following guest is, so you're gonna do the same. So our previous guest, who knows nothing about you, well, actually, no, I don't think they know anything about you. I'm gonna say that again. I think you know a lot about this person anyway. You know in a second who I'm talking about because I think you got him a visa actually. But nonetheless, he wants to know what is your take or your opinion about fusion cuisine.
So I think what is my opinion? My opinion is that I like it.
You like
I
it?
mean, I do because I think you can compare it to traditional ways of making a specific dish,
Right.
but fusion is adding artistry to potentially a traditional dish.
I feel like there's been a lot of like negative perceptions around that word because there was a time where chefs were just like throwing things together. Everything had soy sauce and like tomatillo over here and enchilada foam. Oh yeah, foamy black beans and that kind of stuff. And I do think with a lot of thought, research, intention, yes, you can make awesome fusion stuff. Yeah, that's cool. You don't know who's coming next? Will you leave us with a question for somebody?
Yes. Are you the person that you are because of your success or because of your failures? And what are those?
Oh, that's a good one.
I can tell you my answer to that question.
Let's do it.
My failures. I think that if you don't fail, and I think failure is learning, and failure is resilience, falling down and getting right back up. So I believe that success is easy. There's no impediment. You just keep getting success. But if you don't have those failures, then you don't become the person that you become.
Well, yeah. If I look back, I think on all the most challenging times and years of my life, those have been the most transformative, the most foundational. Like 2017 made this man. That's the year I met you.
Yes. And
I
I
love
met
you, dear.
you.
I just wanted to say that.
I love you too.
I'm so glad to call you a friend. I love you. I admire you, and I would never be tired of sending people your way because
Thanks you.
what you do, I think, is incredible.
Thank
And you guys don't forget, drop your questions in the section below. And if you appreciate this type of content, go ahead and give us a follow. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful for you.
Cheers. Love you.
Golden flakes in the morning light, butter melting, it's a tasty sight. Warm and soft from the baker's hands, start the day with tasty plans. Rise and shine, it's croissant time. Fluffy dreams in every bite. Butter love is so, so fine. Morning's here and feels just right. Coffee sips and a pastry crunch. Every bite a perfect munch. Simple joys on a silver plate. Happiness can't wait. Rise and shine, it's croissant time.